Um, that's sweet. All you guys are here. Like, there's no way. I don't think I would have been doing something like this in high school, which is I think is really stupid of me not to, because I think the thing that I've valued the most in my life is listening to other people and seeing what they have to do and their experiences. So I've always been obsessed with like certain business people, and I always love listening to what they have to say. But I think it's cool to get a lot of people, or as many people's perspective as you can. So I think it's cool you guys are doing something like this. So yeah, my name's Grub. I'm 23. I'm married. My wife's name is Audrey. I have a dog named Samson, and that's like my life right there. We super happy. We live just over here in Orem, just on Center Street. I originally started in the business world, actually here in Bella. Have you guys met Zach before?
They haven't yet, actually.
Not yet? Okay, so, excuse me, Zach is my cousin, and he started this, I'm trying to think. I was about 18 years old. I just graduated high school, and I was working for my dad down in Las Vegas at the time, doing super hard manual labor, as I always have, and I just hated it. I was just like it. I appreciate it because it made me learn how to work really hard, but I was just like, this is stupid. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm just sick of it, right? Like, and I think you guys have all had jobs by now, I'm sure. You learn real quick what you like and what you don't like. So I was just like, I'm sick of this. I've been doing this since I've been like 12, just shoveling gravel and all the horrible stuff. And Zach was just starting this actually, and I learned what he was doing with Bell Lash. I knew it was online, and I was always interested like in online sales, and I was basically like you guys. Like, I had like an Instagram and social media, and I was always a little bit interested in like growing your followers and that type of like marketing type of stuff. So I reached out to Zach and said, hey, do you guys have like a social media yet? And he's like, well, no, I'm not very good at that stuff. And he's a little bit older. Zach is what, 30 now, I think?
Just turned 30, yeah.
Just barely turned 30, yeah. So, I mean, he's a little bit older than me, so he didn't have social media in high school, and didn't, essentially grow up with it. So I was like, sweet, man, like, I'd love to help you out, basically, with Bella Lash. And I was running his Instagram and his social media for a few months, and then I got sick of working out in Vegas and just said, like, hey, man, do you have enough work for me to, come part-time or something? And so he's like, yeah, I think I can come work with me. And I think it was like a week into this when it was just me and him running everything, and then it turned into a full-time thing within like a week. So I was employee number 1 here, I guess, and look what it's turned into, right? So it's pretty, like, I think that's been the most valuable experience I've had in my lifetime so far, was starting with Zach from bare bones, very beginning of the business, and growing it to what it is now. I left here right when they were moving into this building, so we were across the street in the building just over there. So I saw the full, what it takes to build a business, how to do it, and essentially why I left here is because I had an opportunity to come up with the dog backpacks with Canine Sports Sack. And I saw what Zach was doing here and how we did it, and I really was, I just wanted to apply myself and see if I could do it myself, because that's what I really wanted to do. So yeah, I left here, took a big risk. I had a really good job here with Zach and was having a good time, but I knew it takes some risk to do what you want and to achieve your goals. So I took that risk, and it seemed to work out pretty good with Canine Sports Sack. So yeah, where we're at so that's kind of my background and to today. Canine Sports Sack now, I've been doing this full time for about 3 years. We have a warehouse just down over by like UVU, just down Geneva Road basically from here. We have 12 employees now. We sell the backpack in 90 different countries. We're working with like Petco now, PetSmart, all these crazy big brands, and it's been just a crazy experience. Basically, it's interesting to hop industries and see how different customers are in the different industries. Basically, I compare the customers here to what I have now. They're like hippies compared to these like beauty queen, people, right? As you can imagine, right? So it's just been totally different, but I think, a lot of the same concepts apply just in business in general. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. And I'd like to just kind of do like a Q&A with you guys. So yeah, feel free to like ask questions about what you're doing or what I'm doing or about anything. I'm just happy to ask questions.
Okay. How did you come up with the idea of working on the sports app?
Yeah, so the idea was actually my business partner, Joseph. He rescued a dog out of a dumpster when he was in college. So this dog is, I think, 8 years old. So about 8 years ago. And he was training for the bike race called the Lotoja. I'm sure you've seen that on like car window stickers or something. It's like this 200-mile bike ride. And so this dog he rescued got super attached to him. And he bought every other pet carrier on the market at that time, and none of them were working for what he wanted them to do. So he was an entrepreneur back then, saw an idea and a need for a product to solve a problem, and he took his sewing machine and basically made this really ghetto. We have a couple like the original backpacks, and they're like these like pillowcases with like backpack straps on them, basically. So it's really interesting to see like how something like that I need it for myself to turn into something for other people around the world to use. Like it's pretty cool to see like how that evolves from a pillowcase with backpack straps to what it is now. So yeah, he's the original guy who came up with the idea. And the reason why I jumped in, he didn't really have any business experience or anything like that, and he just didn't know how to get the product out in the world and show people and in a good way where people would want to buy it. So that's where I came in doing what I did here, learning what I did, and said, okay, I know exactly how to show this to the world essentially, and that's what we did and what we're still doing. So, good question.
What are those first marketing steps? Like show it to the world.
Yeah, I think you first need to know what you yourself need to know what your product is and how you're gonna apply it, right? And then from there you're gonna analyze, okay, what else is in the marketplace already that's either the same thing or similar. You're gonna study those companies like crazy and see who their customers are, where they are. Are they boys? Are they girls? Are they older people? Are they living in New York or are they living in New Mexico, right? So you just need to get the whole atmosphere and smash it into a little ball where you can look at right there, right? So you need to know who you want to go after, at least starting points, right? So for us, what I did with Kin Sports Act is I dug into people's social media accounts. I went on their websites. I did just a bunch of research and learned as much as I could about other companies and what they were doing in the pet industry. And the one big opportunity I saw, thanks man. The one big opportunity I saw was that there's a ton of people in the pet industry that make dog accounts for their dogs and like act as if they were their dogs talking. So like there's crazy dog people, which is great for us because that means they're super, super passionate about what they're doing. So it's like a perfect niche market, right? Because they love their pets. A lot of the time they are like their children. So I saw that and I said, man, we have to hit like Instagram super, super hard because that's where people are hanging out essentially. It's like what kiosk in the mall, right? They know the people that are going there, and of course they're selling hair products, and because that's where those people are hanging out essentially. So it's just finding where people are, whether that's in person, online, in stores. You really need to know where the best starting point is for our products. And what we thought originally, doing pet products was the pet industry, right? Like it's for dogs. Okay, yeah, you want to get in Petco. But some of our biggest accounts have come actually from the outdoor world. because it's an outdoor product, and people are going on hikes. They're traveling. They're the outdoor type of people that just so happen to have a dog, right? So it's kind of, and that's something I didn't know right off the bat, but it's just something you collect from seeing what your customers are doing and where they're hanging out, essentially. So I think it's just like the most important thing I think is to just know who you're looking for. And something I actually do when we're coming out with new products is I'll write on a piece of paper, and I'll actually draw like stick figures out, and I'll give them names and like where they live and what they like to do, because it gives me a better grasp as like, okay, what's Alex gonna do? Like, what does he do on a daily basis? Where does he go to breakfast? Like, where does he work? What does he like to do? Because I can now make a fake, person and analyze their life and see how my products would apply to Alex's life, or maybe where he would see it if he was, online or going to the store and things like that. So I think it's kind of a weird thing to do, but I learned that from a really successful business guy who does online stuff, and I tried it out, and it really gives me a better glimpse as to what I think my ideal customers would be. So I think it's kind of a cool idea.
So like, let's say on Instagram there's this crazy dog account where
Like
the
Doug
owner, like,
Doug the
defends-
pug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have so many followers where you just like send them like a prototype of your product, and then they're like, hey, if you could make like a video of your dog in this, like, and then you'd get more customers.
Yeah, so I think we're all familiar with like influencer marketing, right? Like you guys see it all the time being on social media. So we did exactly that. Once we had our first initial products, I was reaching out to basically anybody who would go, or who would use the bag. But I think a lot of people these days and companies, they're so focused on getting the bigger people with the most amount of followers, like 100,000 followers, that they can to send products to. But I think it's totally the opposite, especially when you're starting out. You want the most passionate people in your respective marketplace to be promoting your product. They might only have 300, 400 followers, or maybe they have only 8,000. But if their engagement is just like out of control, like they only have 2,000 followers and they're getting 200 comments on a picture, like that's insane. That's what I still look for in an influencer is there's just straight engagement and how genuine they are, what their intent is, and I only want people posting if they really do like the product. So in our case, I've reached out to, the celebrities and things like that, but it does not have the same effect, because you just know that you're paying them to say something rather than having a genuine customer actually using the product and saying, oh my gosh, this actually helped me so much with whatever, bringing my dog around, or hey, we went to my favorite coffee shop this morning and I was able to bring my dog along. It's just, I think with the world and how it's evolving in the social platforms, I think being genuine is probably one of the number one things you want to focus on, because people just see straight through just the freaking BS, like people don't want to see ads. They don't want to be sold. They already see that a million times a day when they hop on their Facebook, right? So I think going about, being genuine and, basically just showing people what you have, I think it's a lot better marketing than just trying to freaking punch people in the face with selling, ads and things like that. So it's pretty interesting. So let me ask you guys, what are you guys working on?
I'm working on like designing board games and making them and probably selling them mostly online.
Yeah, I have a friend who's doing that same thing, and I think he's working. So I think he designed some games, and now he's working with some bigger companies doing some of their design work. So have you what kind of games are they?
They were like
Like group people would play.
Yeah, like a group of people, usually small, like 2 to 4.
So what's like the genre, I guess, of people that would be playing your games? Like, what are they into?
Let's see, well, my games are generally somewhat simple right now and competitive. So it's probably like people who like want to play something with their friends and try to compete with them, beat them.
So starting off for advertising or marketing for you is I would go find similar like board games or the big brands that make a bunch of these board games and start targeting their followers. So I don't know, like, do you know who like makes a bunch of these board games, these companies?
Yeah, like there's Bradley, I think Hasbro, though that's not exactly the same type.
Yeah, but it's still, they're making games, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, I would actually just start studying and digging as deep as you can into these brands and where their marketing is, and get an idea for who are following these people. Like click on some of these people that are following like Hasbro, and see what they're like. Like, where are they living? How old are they? Like, are most of them male? Are they female? Like, it's such an easy way to gather data, right? I do it all the time still. When I'm coming out with new products or we think we have an idea we want to do, that's the first thing I'm doing. I'm clicking on other brands that already have existing things, and I'm like, who's buying their stuff? I'm using tools online, like how much traffic are they getting? Like, what keywords are they going for? What are their ads like? You know, I like to get a whole grasp of what everybody else is doing, and to see if we can do it better or more efficiently or even more effectively than they are.
So after you figure out who the people that are following the other accounts are or whatever, do you just follow them like crazy or what?
Yeah, you can. I mean, that's like the easiest way to get new followers is just basically traffic hack somebody else's. Like, people do it on my account all the time now. I see a lot of, or every once in a while I'll follow and unfollow my own account to see within like the next 2 or 3 days to see who has followed me, because that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to the most recent followers and they're just going click, 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 follow. Yeah, exactly. And then they unfollow them later. Yeah.
So I follow like some fashion accounts, and when I follow one, like a million others follow me. And if I follow them back like a week later,
they're gone.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like, that's, at least you probably saw their name. You probably didn't click on them because they didn't like a post or comment. Like, they weren't genuine. If one of those companies that followed you were to comment and like a post and send you a message, how much more likely would you be to follow them back? Yeah, exactly, right. So I think there's a lot of tools. We use tools. I'm not going to say we don't use tools. Like, we have Instagram bots and things like that will follow and engage with people. But what we do with my team is, once we get that comment back that they're engaging, we're actually really commenting back, because they're obviously interested, and you want to engage with your customer. And people, if it is a genuine comment and it's not spammy and it's not very like salesy oriented, they're so much more likely to actually give you a genuine response. Or sometimes they just call you out and just be like, this is a bot, isn't it? And you're like, yeah, sorry, we have some automation tools to, don't lie to them. Like, just be honest. Like, yeah, whatever you do, even if you have bots and things like that, they're just tools. They really are helpful tools, and they really do good. You just have to do it in a way that is still genuine to what you believe in, and the response from other people it's fine, because they saw that you were genuine and you're not just trying to make a sale off them or take money from them, So I think, once again, it comes back to being genuine. So what else are you guys doing?
So I'm doing, like, I want to start a t-shirt company.
Like what type of t-shirts?
And like the company that I want to start is called BU,
Mm-hmm.
and so it's gonna be like be courageous, like be hopeful, like those kind of shirts, like aimed to those people.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like, I feel like wearing, like what you express, like expresses you and like how you feel.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what are your starting points? Where do you want to sell? Who do you want to sell to?
I don't know yet. I'm probably like young adults,
Mm-hmm.
probably around my age. I don't know, more like the skater type, cause like like I'm kind of redneck, but like I can't see them
Mm-hmm.
buying my product and wearing those. So like, more of those kids that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's a good starting point. You know who you want to go for.
Yeah. People who like ride skateboards and stuff like that.
Yeah. So how are you? So something like t-shirts, right?
Mm-hmm.
One thing I always tell people when I hear their ideas is I always look at who they're up against and what they're doing, right? So like if you're selling a t-shirt, you're automatically competing with Adidas right over there, right? And Nike and Marvel, right? Like everybody has t-shirts, right?
Yeah.
So I think a good way to if you are going to start something like that, you have to get super specific and find that niche, because everybody has t-shirts, so you need to know exactly, like especially for you need to know exactly who you're going to start going for. And I think with something like that, like you said, expressing yourself, I think Pinterest would be a great platform for you, because a lot of people on there, everybody knows or is familiar with Pinterest, right? Like you make your boards and you have your pins and you can share stuff. So like these people who are on Pinterest, they obviously know what they like because they're putting them in categories. So like when they're going through like, oh, I like this for my house, or I like this for an outfit later on. Like you're getting to people who already know what they like and believe in. So I think, and Pinterest ads can be super cheap too, and you can get a lot of reach through Pinterest. We've been doing it recently, and they've been pretty good. But yeah, I think Pinterest is a great platform to start on, and their advertising right now, like compared to Facebook, really sucks. But I think they'll get there within the next year or so, just getting a little bit more diversified and target specific. So I think Pinterest would be a good platform.
I think also it's kind of like going to Stay Wear Clothing. I don't know.
Oh, yeah,
And look at all their followers and do the same thing like you were saying. Like go look and see what type of people follow Stay Wear Clothing or whatever else.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just
'Cause they have
traffic hack.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, they have a
exactly.
similar idea of what they're doing.
One thing I've had a really good idea about that I've just never wanted to do is, I don't know if there's a lot of LDS people here, and somebody should make little like t-shirts with a little pocket of like their mission they went to. If they can get like a super cool like thing of their country they went to with like their city just like right there, and call them like your mission tee or something like that, I feel like that would be a huge business here, because everybody like is always explaining to people like where they went on the mission, and then they have their reunions too, right? So like you find the mission president for one of these missions, and you say, hey man, I make t-shirts, you want some for all of your missionaries or whatever. Like I thought that would be a pretty good business idea. There you go.
Get like a fake tie on the t-shirt, like the.
Yeah, you could do a bunch of stuff. Yeah, you could do a bunch of stuff. So one thing I think is cool about all of you guys here right now that makes you different is you're actually starting to execute on your ideas. So I think a lot of people, I hate when people are always, oh man, I have such a good idea for a business, or oh man, I have such a good idea. Like ideas are bogus. Like everybody has ideas. Everybody has really good ideas, and I hear people come up to what we do at K9. Oh man, I had this idea forever ago. This was my idea. Okay, well, why didn't you do anything about it? Like, that's the biggest gap between people who don't do anything with their lives and the people who are really successful, is this middle ground of right and bold execution right there. Like, that is, I would say, probably 80% of what it takes to just get going with something and being successful is to just straight up execute and be a good executioner at whatever you're doing. Because people, like I said, people have really good ideas and they might start something, but they're horrible at finishing, so they're gonna lose. You're already a loser. So execution, like, I hope somebody takes that mission t-shirt idea in here because I think it's a good one. Like, execute on it, do it, like, try it out. And I'm a firm believer in really, like, trying anything once within, you know, your boundaries of finances or beliefs or whatever it is, because you just never know what might work and what might not work. I have people every single day sending me emails of apps for a Shopify store or you know, systems to use for shipping or new ad platforms. And to be honest, I try like 80% of them. And I talk to a lot of people because like I said, I value what other people are saying, even if they don't have nothing to do with my business or even my industry, because I want to hear what they have to say. And I'm willing to try it if it works. Like recently, like a good example recently is an affiliate marketing company called Pepper Jam. And what Pepper Jam is, you know, when you type in like something you want to buy, like a t-shirt or like a brand, and then you type coupon after, and then there's like a million coupon sites and you try to find a coupon for like 10% off or like free shipping or something. So it's basically a site where this company Pepper Jam reaches out to all these other people, and they're like the middleman between brands and those sites, whether it's coupon sites, blogs, you know, really specific travel sites. They connect people with brands. So I said, okay, sweet. Like, yeah, I'll get on people's websites. Like, if, you know, I'm going to give them a cut of 7.5% per sale they make. Like, I don't lose anything because, well, I only pay them if they're actually generating sales. So I saw an opportunity in it, and once again, they contacted me through email. So I took a chance, and I'll try anything once, and it's working really, really well. So it's just like, I think people get scared to try new things because I think we're humans. We all have the habits we like. So I think that's another thing that differentiates people who are really successful or just kind of staying in the same place, is they're not willing to evolve and change. It's like Toys R Us right now. They're going out of business because they sucked at changing, which is ridiculous to me, because how many people did they have working for them and how big of a company were they? So it just proves, like, right there, that even the biggest, if they don't evolve or they don't change, or they, you know, they're not smart about their systems and what they're doing, they're gonna die. JCPenney, yeah, right there.
Kmart.
Yeah, exactly. They just like, and that's why you have to like respect Amazon, because they're always trying new things.
Yeah.
Like when you think of Amazon, most of us will think of the online store, but they are a monster because they are just getting their hands in everything and they're good at it. So like people are so scared of Amazon because they're so good at executing. Like my cousin, he works for a what is it? It's like a data service. So they have like a bunch of the supercomputers, and they basically rent out their space to ginormous companies. And he's like, there's nothing stopping Amazon from coming into this market because they can. Like, they're just so good at what they do. So I think it's really cool to see a company like that is not afraid to go into the grocery world.
Yeah,
like,
or like not afraid to go into like just like every world. Like
yeah.
They're literally everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that some other things that like are admirable is like Walmart could have gone out of business like